What's up guys, and welcome to the review of Lost Girl episode 2, which is basically part 2 of episode 1. Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know if people are calling it episode 2 or episode 1 part 2, so we'll just cover both angles there. It's called Like Hell part 2, so it is technically episode 1 part 2, but I think they are counting it as kind of like the episode 2 thing. Now, this episode, wow, it pissed me off so much. I was like, I didn't get it, and that's not really normal. That's not really a kind of change for when it comes to Lost Girl. I don't really get a lot of the episodes. But seriously, what the fuck was going on? Like, I think for me, it was probably one of the worst Lost Girl episodes I think I've ever watched. And it was a real shame that it was like that, because the first half of the episode, Like Hell Part 1, which was episode 1, was so good. I mean, I know I said a lot of things happened that I didn't really agree with, but it was a really good episode, the first one. And now this one's come along, and it's like, what the fuck is this? So, we had, listing off the things that were kind of like, what? We had, like, borderline incest with Bo and her stepmom. We had ghost sex with Lauren, and who we assumed was Bo but wasn't actually Bo. And the fuck was Tamsin for like the whole episode. There was no, like, after the first episode, I had my hopes set really high for how, like, Valkybus was going to develop this whole season, but, you know, that being said, there wasn't really any interaction with Bo and any other character this episode, so I suppose I can't really complain too much, but because there was, like, so much in the first episode, it was like, what the fuck is it gone? It's, like, non-existent for this, like, whole episode. The majority of the episode is just set on as Bo on her own in hell, basically. And we find out that Bo's dad isn't Odin, which was never kind of a thing, but it was kind of like playing on everyone's mind. It was a big kind of like theory that a lot of people had, and I actually did kind of like, I was on board with that theory that it could be Odin. It's not Odin. It's not the Wanderer. Obviously, Raina was the Wanderer. It's not the Wanderer. It is in fact Hades, the god of the underworld. Now that confused me because we've got, like, I mean, I know Lost Girl is like a mishmash of everything, but we've had Freya, we've had mention of Loki's, we've had all of this, like, we've got Valkyries, for God's sake, we've got all this, like, Norse god stuff, and we've even got the freaking tree thing that they talk about in the Thor movie, and they talk about the Bifrost. They've got all of that. That's all like Norse mythology, and then they chuck in a Greek god, that being Hades, and I'm just there like, what the fuck have you done now? You know, if you're gonna have like one set of kind of gods, have it as one mythology set, you know? Don't just have one-off freaking god, because it would sound better to have, you know, Bo's dad being Hades than anyone else. You know, figure out who the freaking god is for Norse mythology, and then call that Bo's dad. It's not that difficult. So I was just kind of like, the fuck is going on with everything here? It was ridiculous. And then, like, just like, so much went on, but very little went on at the same time. Obviously, Bo is stuck in this maze trying to get to her father. And it was hilarious when she was like, I'm gonna take all your things, and then runs away with a candle. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? You really gonna I mean, to be fair, it did anger him, which again did make me laugh, because it's a candle, and I get it's supposed to be some kind of like special candle, but it's still a candle. And he was there like freaking like choking her up against this wall or whatever. We still haven't seen his face, So we still don't know what he looks like. I mean, we know who plays him, but we still don't know what they've made him look like. And he's obviously still in that suit thing that was kind of present in the end of season 3 when Tamsin and Dyson tried to run him over. Well, I say Tamsin and Dyson. Tamsin tried to run him over with her truck. And all that happened. So he still looks like he's going to be kind of like suited and booted. But like, it's a candle, man. Don't get so pissed off about a candle. But like, it was like he didn't want her there after like 4 seasons of him trying to get her attention. He apparently doesn't want to meet her now. So I'm just there like, that's a little bit, you know, counterproductive, if you get what I mean. But I don't know, this whole episode was a mishmash of loads and loads and loads of random crap put together. Stacey, I can't fucking stand that bitch. She needs to go, like, you know when you get Mean Girls and you can't, like, you know, the film Mean Girls, and you're just there, like, you get that one character and you're just like, no, you can't sit with us. That fucking Stacey bitch. I fucking can't stand her character. I think she is stupid. I mean, we've got, like, the most badass Valkyrie on cast, that being Tamsin. Why have we got Stacey here fucking shit up? It's not as if there's enough kind of going wrong at the moment as it is. So I really don't like her character. Kenzie's gone again. I'm in 2 minds about how they did that. I really am. I get that they wanted to give her a second chance to live out as a human. Okay, I get that. But they've only just literally got her out of Valhalla. Like, 1 episode ago, they got her out of Valhalla. And I was saying from the get-go, it was too soon for Kenzie to be back, really. There was no kind of build-up to her coming back. She was just gone, and then next episode she's back. You know, there was no... Considering she's a main character, and it was like kind of a massive thing that she died, there was no build-up to her coming back. So for her to come back and then just go again was a little bit like, what, why? But, you know, I think they should have left her in Valhalla a bit longer. Either that, or they should have left her there, just left her there, or they should have waited a little bit longer before she left. You know, there were signs, when I rewatched the episode, there were like, I did pick up on a few signs that she was going to leave before she actually did. With her saying, like, it's never kind of straightforward with you people, and it's never over with the Fae or whatever. But, you know, it's like, she was kind of gone and then there, and then she's gone again. And I don't really understand the thought process of how they've done that. It's very rushed. When I get Ksenia Solo doesn't want to be in it for too long, obviously. She's got a lot of new projects coming up. She's obviously going to be in Orphan Black, which I'm really excited about. But, like, it did seem very, very rushed. You know, it was like there wasn't enough, there was barely any Bo Kenzie interaction in between her coming back and her leaving. Like, when she managed to kind of get out of Valhalla, there was the only kind of interaction they had was her saying goodbye. And it was really bizarre. It was really kind of like, unfortunately, it did feel really, really rushed. And you know, with it being the last season, I was really hoping they were gonna, like, take care of the little things, you know, with the show. So it's a real shame that they haven't, but, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes, I suppose. What else was there? There was... I tell you what I did like. I tell you what I really did like. Team Human this episode was fantastic. They haven't had enough of that. The Lauren and Kenzie teaming up parts of the episode were incredibly hilarious. You know, I don't think they ever really gave Lauren a chance to kind of get her funny side out. And, you know, after the ghost sex thing happens, it's kind of like, it was really cool to see her actually interacting with Kenzie on, like, an even level, because one's Beau's best friend slash sister slash heart, and one's Beau's maybe kind of girlfriend. And it was really cool to see them two kind of like working together, and it was a really funny sequence of when they were doing the Ouija board thing. And yeah, I thought that was really well done, and it was nice to see them two kind of getting along and kind of putting their differences aside to try and sort things out. It was nice to see that. So Team Human, probably the best part of this episode were them scenes, because apart from that, it was so kind of all over the place. I think had more detail been put into the episode, it would have been good, but it just seemed so rushed, and there were things that didn't make sense, and there were things that didn't add up. And you've got Beau's stepmother, who's Persephone, kind of stuck in this maze for like however many, I think it was like 6,000 years or whatever, but she sleeps with Beau, and I know it's not like blood relative, I don't think anyway, but like it's still really fucked up. I don't really know how to understand it. We do see, I tell you what was pretty cool that we saw where Beau grew up as a baby with the cage where Aoife was in the underworld, so that was pretty cool to see. We do see like little bits of the underworld as the hotel, but again, it's just basically like a blued out version of Valhalla, and I get that they're trying to make them all look similar, but like not so similar. I just think that maybe the hotel thing isn't really working for me. I don't think it really works as a kind of perception of what hell would be like. Like, I get it's supposed to be like, for once they are trying to make it into like a more realistic version of something, but I don't get it why it's a hotel, but you know, that's just how it goes, I suppose. Dyson and Tamsin, I think, had a truce about the fact they slept together, and they agreed to be friends. And pretty much like the only Valkubus reference in the whole episode is when, and this is me pulling at strings. This is me kind of like reading in between the lines here. It's when Tamsin says to Dyson that she's not jealous that he was getting off with Stacey, and the only reason I'm saying that is because why would she be jealous when she's got her sights set on Beau? You know, that is me reading between the lines and kind of really pulling at strings to try and get that little bit of Valkubus interaction into my head for that episode. So yeah, the episode it wasn't even like a good episode to slash. It was just a really, really poorly done episode, and it really sucks because it's only just the start of the season, and I don't want it to be kind of like having constant episodes like that. I mean, I get a few episodes here and there aren't going to be so good, but this, like right at the beginning of the season, after such a strong like start last week, it was really disappointing. Actually, it was really kind of disconcerting as well, because we've been looking forward to this for like a year, and it's the last one, and it feels like they're rushing it. And you know, considering they've got 2 years to kind of put this whole story across, it's not like they need to rush it unless they've done what they usually do and try and put too much story into too little time, which wouldn't surprise me at all. But you know, another thing that I don't get, who the fuck is that woman at the end? I don't know if that's supposed to be like a member of Persephone's family or whatever, because it was related to the candle. I don't know if that means that she's going to be coming after Beau, and that's going to be another person that she's got to deal with. I don't know, but we seem to have a lot of new characters that seem to be kind of like more permanent characters. Because, you know, when you get, like, for the previous seasons of Lost Girl, there was always different characters every single episode, but they were always like the monsters that they face, like, for one episode, and then they would go and then they'd be replaced by someone else, and that worked. But it seems like they've got a whole new kind of lot of characters that are going to be sticking around for this season, which, yeah, okay, fair enough, bring some new characters in, but, you know, it's the last season. It's not like we're gonna, you know, I don't think we're gonna have enough time to get used to all of them. I mean, this is the 5th season now, and some people are only just getting used to the main characters that are in there now. You know, a lot of people still aren't used to Tamsin, because she only joined season 3, and, you know, this is still her 3rd season with the show. And, you know, she's a freaking main character. It's like, I don't know, because it really does feel like, it just feels like they're rushing it, and I don't want them to rush it. I really don't want them to rush it, because I really want it to end, like, I really want the, like, Lost Girl as a whole to end on a high note, like a really, really high note, and I want it to have a fantastic season finale, but I don't know if that's going to happen if we keep getting episodes like the one that aired on Sunday. Honestly, guys, it really did disappoint me, just because it was so rushed, it was so disconjointed, there was no link to anything, you know, and it's like they've kind of it looks like they had a main plot that would have worked, and they've added a load of extra crap on the top, you know, because there was a lot about it that could have worked really well, you know, and the bits that were good were really good, but the bits that were bad were freaking awful, and that was what took up the majority of the episode. And it really is a pain, because people like me that have been looking forward to this for like a year, and they've kind of like been, if you live in the UK like me and you're kind of streaming it to watch it on the day of release in Canada, you're staying up till 2 AM watching a live stream for an hour. You know, you're doing that to watch the show, and then they're not. It just feels like they're rushing it, and I really don't want that to happen. And it pisses me off, because they've got 2 years for one season. They don't need to rush it. If they've put too much story in, that's, you know, it wouldn't surprise me, because they do it all the time. But, you know, whoever wrote that episode did a really, really bad job. And, you know, it's not just me that thinks that. And when I was watching the live stream on Tiny Chat, everyone was like, you know, this is ridiculous. Why are they doing this? Why has this happened? Blah, blah, blah. And it's not just a fact of not understanding why they've done it. It's a fact of not, like, it's just a fact of it being unnecessary that they've done it, I suppose. You know, it's not necessary for them to cram all these little bits into an episode that's going to really put it down the drain, when they could have had a fantastic episode. Like, the first episode, yeah, a lot happened with the story that I didn't quite agree with, but it worked, and it was very simple, and there were no little side gags, and, you know, it was just straightforward, kind of like bam, 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 story progression right the way up. This one it did seem just like a filler episode, and, you know, I get that they need them, but really, on the second episode in, I don't think that was necessary. I really don't. So anyway, that's my point of view on this episode. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything that I've missed that I should perhaps be kind of like giving credit to, because at the moment the only thing I can find to give credit to is the Team Human interaction, because that was freaking badass. and the fact that like Bo and Tamsin are sat next to each other at that table. That's it. That's all I can kind of give credit to at the moment. So let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything I've missed that is quite important to the story instead of just a mishmash of crap. Let me know what you think about the episode yourself. Let me know what rating you give it, that kind of thing. And hopefully this week's episode will be a hell of an improvement on the one that has just gone, because if it's not, then I'm going to be pissed off and you're going to get a review next week of me just kind of shouting into my phone about how crap it was. That's probably going to happen, so hopefully it won't come to that. But that's going to be it from me for this episode. Don't forget to let me know what you think, leave your comments in the boxes below, and as always guys, stay classy gamers.